Dr. Benz,
Good
welcome.
afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Madam
Madam.
Chairman, thank you for getting us back on track. Or
It's
trying
fine.
to.
I know you're trying to get out of here. I don't want to have you late for your flight, Mr. Chairman.
I'm Chuck Horner, Chairman of the Board of Trustees, University of West Florida. And I'd like to introduce some trustees that are with us today. We've got Trustee Baer, Trustee O'Sullivan, Trustee Patel, and Trustee Terry. Today you'll hear from President Benz, Provost King, and our Senate President Finley. I'm going to shamelessly grovel in front of the Board of Governors. This year we used the strategic plan to develop the work plan, and it was very useful in our budgeting process. And so I commend the Board of Governors for pushing that particular process, because we had very difficult decisions to make, and it added strength because we looked at things as the university as a whole rather than what we've done in the past or individual programs. We're going to continue with this drilling down to get more information with our academic visioning process that Provost King's heads, and we'll have that in the fall, and we'll use that to update our strategic plan. So the process is more important even than the product. Also this year we worked hard on metrics. We're not happy with what we have, but we will improve over time. It's going to take years to develop really good performance metrics. But when we have them, they'll be able to check our progress of where we are with regard to achieving our goals. We'll be able to hold both the Board of Trustees and the university leadership accountable. And finally, we would hope that we will develop pride based on real performance. So with that, I'll turn it over to President Benz.
Actually, Provost King.
Thank you. The priorities of the University of West Florida are: one, to increase student progress toward completion of high-quality degrees that meet regional and state needs; improve access through articulation with other educational entities and community partnerships; promote economic development; provide a high-quality student experience; and recruit and retain high-quality faculty and staff. How does this thing work?
On the right.
Oh, thank you. Lesson 101. The first priority, increasing student progress toward completion of high-quality degrees that meet regional needs, has several components. One of them is the importance of student advising. In order to achieve the necessary process for our students at UWF, we're committed to enhanced academic advising. Currently, our student-to-advisor ratio is about 425 to 1. The National Academic Advising Association recommended ratio is 300 to 1. So one of the LBRs that we're requesting this year is increased support for academic advising to the tune of $1.2 million. We believe that in order to retain students, we have to provide not only high-quality academic programs, but also access to the students to high-quality advisors that can answer their academic needs and help them to move seamlessly through the programs. Timely graduation is also extremely important. The University of West Florida is becoming more of a residential campus, and as we become more of a residential campus, we're hoping that the experiences that the students undertake at the university will make them more amenable to staying at the university and also staying long enough to ultimately graduate from the university. In the past, our students were overwhelmingly commuter and transfer students, and as many of the other institutions have, I'm sure, noticed, when you have the commuter population, you have a number of students that ultimately will graduate, but they stop in and come back, and so it makes the graduation rate look much worse than perhaps it actually is. We have instituted several programs through our Division of Student Affairs that are focused specifically on first-time in college students in terms of providing a sense of community and a sense of belonging to the University of West Florida. The Delphi and Oracle programs are first and second year residential educational experiences, and what we've seen with both of these are significantly higher retention rates and ultimately graduation rates than exist for the student body in total. In addition, the graduate The grade point averages for the students in these programs is higher than for the regular student population. The third thing that we are embarking on is academic visioning, as General Horner indicated. In February of this year, we undertook this process to critically look at where we are and to answer the question, where are we and where we need to go, but to look at it in terms of the significant changes that are occurring all around us, technology being one of those things. Because the world is changing around us, we need to ensure that the academic programs and the methods of delivery are consistent with that changing world. To that end, we began the academic visioning process with the goal of developing vision, mission goals, and strategic priorities for academic affairs. As General Horner indicated, this will then be used to spread out to the university in total in terms of the university's strategic plan. The process will be completed in October, and it's involving both internal and external constituents and stakeholders. We have involved both the internal and external stakeholders in a SWOT analysis. We've also involved them in asking the question, what do you want the University of West Florida to be within the broader picture of the state university system, the nation, and also the global context? To date, the visioning team has developed the following themes, which will be further refined in the next few months. Those themes are innovation, skills for the 21st century, workforce ready, quality, teaching, research, purposeful growth, community engagement, and visibility. As Chairman Horner has stated, UWF has a stronger focus on accountability and measurable goals. Two areas of particular importance to us are STEM graduates as compared to our peers, and also nursing licensure passing exam rates. Currently at UWF, we're graduating 25% more STEM graduates than our peers. We're seeing an increased number of students who enter into the STEM fields, and our new SSE facility has been a major recruiting tool. As President Bensel will indicate in just a few minutes, one of the things that we're also undertaking is a very important partnership with the National Flight Academy that's targeting middle school individuals, and with this partnership, we are hoping to see significantly more students in the middle schools and high schools that see the value of the STEM education and ultimately go on to those very important career paths. 94% of our nursing students pass the National Council licensure exam. And this is significantly important also because, as many of you, maybe all of you know, there's a significant shortage of nurses in our state and also in the nation. And so we're really focused on not only increasing that, but also making sure that the individuals who ultimately enter into our nursing programs are successful with those licensure exams. Our BS in nursing program has consistently had more applicants than the spaces available. Our new online RN to BSN program has really taken off in the region, and we have very, very strong support from the area healthcare providers. Our fully online MSN program is up and running and will help provide nurse educators, which is crucial for improving the number of BSN nursing. Other metrics that we are focusing on, and I'm just going to mention things that we're really drilling down on. A number of the metrics that have been mentioned today have been at the university level compared to peers, but one of the things that we are looking at is how those metrics translate to the program level. We're looking at program profitability. We're looking at program retention rates and program graduation rates. We're looking at program marketability and also student satisfaction with the programs. And at the university level, as the other institutions are focusing on, we're looking at the retention and graduation rates because we recognize that ultimately the goal is to actually graduate those students.
Thank you. One of the things I want to talk about is our regional economic development. Last year when I came before you, we were in the middle of the terrible oil spill. Our researchers were running towards the oil in marine biology, bioremediation, underwater archaeology, and we provided the research and public service that our region really expects of us. Due to our hard work and the proximity, in the past year we've partnered with other universities in Florida and Alabama, as well as organizations like the Florida Oceanographic Institute, and received over $1.2 million in direct oil spill grants. The second point I want to make is on our Office of Economic Development and Engagement. When you were all here, in Pensacola last January, I announced the establishment of the Office of Economic Development and Engagement in the hope that we would assist our region in diversifying our economy. We only have two legs on our stool in the economy up in Northwest Florida. That's military and tourism. And if it weren't for the military, I don't know where we'd be, but the tourism, as you know, just was terrible last year and affected us all in a negative way because of the spill. But thanks to Senator Don Gates, Trustee Bear on my second from the end on the right, Trustee Terry on the far left, we've been given the responsibility for managing $30 million at $10 million a year for 3 years for the purposes of economic development and job creation in the 8 counties most affected by the oil spill. So, as you can see and know, the oil spill was devastating for our region on many levels, but the University of West Florida is playing a role in not only what happened, but on its recovery, and not just recovering the environment, and not just getting tourism back, which it is, thank goodness, this year, but developing new sources of revenue for our economy. Another leg in the stool, basically white-collar workers moving companies, large companies moving to Northwest Florida, creating a job force and workforce that attracts them, and we're heavily involved in that. We're also responding to our military and our returning veterans by providing educational opportunities over and above what the military already provides. There's a program called Hometown Heroes, which we are very active in, and this is especially helpful to those veterans who have exhausted the funds from the GI Bill or the veterans' benefits. One of the things I also now want to talk to you about a little bit is how we have improved access, articulation, and partnerships, which is, of course, one of our goals in our strategic plan. And last year I told you about the creation of the President's Coalition in Northwest Florida, where 6 presidents, 5 colleges, and the University of West Florida get together and do things that are good for the higher education in our region. Those campuses are Pensacola State in Pensacola, Northwest Florida State College in Niceville near Fort Walton, Chipola College in Marianna, Gulf Coast Community College in Panama City, and Tallahassee Community College in Tallahassee, of course. And one of the things we looked at very hard is the Emerald Coast. And the Emerald Coast started out as a good old-fashioned branch campus a long time ago over in Fort Walton in partnership with what is now Northwest Florida State College. But we realized that we had a broken model over there. It was an old model. It was what worked 30 years ago or 20 years ago. So I brought in a consultant to really take a look at it, to see if what are we doing right, what are we doing wrong, how do we make it an asset to the university and the community over there. And I will tell you that we made major changes financially, academically, and management-wise. They were tough decisions, but these are tough financial times, and once you know your model is broken, you better fix it, and we did. I will tell you now what we've done is, by putting the students first over there, what we've done is identify the programs that they can take all the way from start to finish, soup to nuts, without leaving for Walton Beach, Niceville area. We used to have 23. That's not true. We have 9. But 9 are guaranteed. 9's better than 7. Now we have 3 more. And so we're growing, and those are kind of with our guarantee. Another thing is when we do offer a program over there, and they do have to come to the Pensacola campus, we tell them. We tell them ahead of time. We tell them of course it is. We tell them where in their program they're going to have to take it so that they can plan for it. And then we make sure we offer it on the Pensacola campus in that time period. It's really kind of simple. It's not rocket science on how to do it. It's just tell them what you can do and then do it. And that goes a long way with everybody. But at any rate, And then in this coalition, the second image here, the one in the middle, Northwest Florida State College is becoming a very strong partner, and we were meeting with them on the direct admit program that we've copied from Central Florida with their help. And we were saying, well, now, do you, is there anything else you'd like us to offer over here? And they said, yes. And we said, well, what would you like? Hospitality. Well, between Fort Walton Beach, and it goes Destin and Seaside and Panama City, that's hospitality heaven in our region. It's packed right now. You can't drive down Highway 98 and without, taking forever. It's good. Last year you could. You could eat anywhere you wanted to, and that's not a good thing. So we said, yes, we will ramp up our hospitality program. And I'm happy to say that they're doing their part by offering the intro level course. And in January, we will start a full-fledged hospitality program right there, start to finish, in the Fort Walton and Destin area. And of course, Panama City wants it too, so who knows what we'll do. But what we're doing is following the market. We're asking them what we want. We're telling them if we can or we cannot offer it, and then we do it. And that's working out very nicely, which leads me into this Northwest Florida NWF to UWF for UWF. President John Hitt has done a lot right in his 19 years at the University of Central Florida. And I heard about the Direct Connect a couple years ago, and I called him up and I said, would you mind if we sat down and talked about this? And of course he said, well, of course, and pointed me to his vice president. We talked for a long time, and he said, now Judy, it's not going to be up there like it is down here. And I said, no, and how do you do it with your partners? And so what I've really done is, with their help, taken their concept of finding a way to get a higher education degree for the students that are going to the colleges in Northwest Florida. And our pilot program is NWF to UWF. I will say that we managed to hire one of the people that started the Direct Connect project, not from him. She wasn't working for them. And so this is a program, just like what President Hitt said, when they are enrolled or admitted to the College of Northwest Florida State College, they're automatically admitted to the University of West Florida. Of course, they have to do certain things, they have to stay on track. We're putting advisors like he did and coordinators on their campus to make sure their students take the right courses at the right time so they're ready for a seamless 2+2 conversion. And the president there, Ty Handy, we thought, well, we better tread a little lightly and make sure everybody has their AA before they transfer to us. And he said, no, they need to transfer when they're ready to transfer. That's up to them. It's not up to us. And that is it's a wonderful relationship. Now the other four partners that we have are eager. They're saying, well, I want to be next. I want to be next. And President Handy had done it before up in Vermont. He's a new president, and so that's we're going to have all of them in no time. And what we will do is provide access using the state college system. Now they, of course, all have 4-year programs, but Northwest Florida isn't going to offer hospitality. We've got that infrastructure. And so there are lots of things that they want for their students that they don't want to offer and that we can. And actually, it's not very hard. Ask them what they want and see if we can do it. And sometimes together we have to do it, but it's working nicely. Another big program that we're including now on this partnership thing is with our LBR, is the Career Pathways Portal. We developed that, the President's Coalition did, and we're asking for some major funding, $424,000, that will assist us to make great improvements in the articulation and transfer process for students in Northwest Florida. A lot of times in Northwest Florida, we've just been kind of ignoring everybody else for like 50 years. And now we stop ignoring everyone else and we start looking at each other, and we're realizing that with just a little bit of help, we can make a whole lot of progress. Well, I won't go into it. You got to help yourself up there, Now, the last thing I want to talk about is the National Flight Academy. And this is something that's at the National Museum of Naval Aviation, the one with all the airplanes. It's free. It's absolutely fantastic. Well, there's an addition to that now. That is a simulation of an aircraft carrier, and they built it. They're finishing up the inside. And like Provost King mentioned, it is to really encourage middle and high school students in a week's time, encourage them through simulation and bells and whistles on how to navigate and how to land a plane on the deck of a carrier, all the geometry and the math that go along with that. And so what they've done is they've partnered with us, and we have been working in partnership with Disney and TEQ Games for their week-long developing the curriculum. It is stretching our really advanced professors in simulation, in high-tech course delivery, in creation and problem solving, application of STEM to something that's in reality. And it's absolutely exciting. It's going to be wonderful. They have these flight simulators that are in high schools, and they put them in there, and the students can see what they can do at the academy. It is absolutely unique, and that's another partnership that we're very proud of. Now, about recruiting and retaining faculty? Of course, that is one of our major goals. And over the past year, we've all realized that the money's not coming back. We're going to have a new economy. How are we going to deal with what is called the new normal? And we better get our act together before it's too late. And so we've been having new normal retreats, and the questions we've been, senior administration as well, including faculty, how do we operate in this new environment? How can we improve? What do we have to do? What accountability measures do we need? What kind of best practices does the University of West Florida need to move forward? And also, we're now made a big step in strategic planning and budgeting. Now, I know that sounds like everybody's been doing it forever, tying your budget to your plan, but you have to figure out what you need to stop doing so that you can use those resources to fund what you ought to be doing, and we're doing that. When we took our budget cuts this year, we didn't take them out of our growth money. We took them out of our existing budget. We used our growth money and invested it in things that we need to invest in. Faculty, for example. We are dedicating historic amount of money, $2.7 million for new faculty. That's a combination of the 1.5 differential fee that tuition we're able to get, as well as some of our growth money. And we're also inviting people who are writing the book on what is the new normal that meets with to give sort of seminars and workshops to our Board of Trustees, to our Cabinet, and to our extended administration. We brought down, for example, Jane Wellman of the Delta Project, and how to determine our budget strategies, key performance indicators, who are our proper peer and aspirant groups that we benchmark against. Now, as the Provost mentioned, we are making sure that our academic programs are responsive to our region through community-wide visioning process. For the first time, we're asking Northwest Floridians what they would like us to offer. What do they want our graduates to know? What can we do better? What do we need to stop doing? And they're telling us. And it's interesting. They like being asked. They know we're not going to do everything they want to do, but being asked is very important. And one of the things we are laser focused on is where should we spend our money and what are our expected measurable results. So while we are implementing these processes, we've come a long way during this period of declining revenues. Like everybody else, we've lost a bunch of money, but we are learning how to deal with it. And one of the things we're dealing with is, as you've heard many times today, many presidents say, they're hiring more faculty. I think differential tuition is working. As all of us say, it's not enough. But it is wonderful to be able to have it to retain the faculty that you would have lost the budget cuts and to add faculty and student advisors where you need them. And that's particularly important. In 2010 and 11, we added 12 new faculty with our tuition differential using $841,000. In 11 and 12, we plan to fund 21 faculty from our differential tuition of $1.5 million. And we're going to plus that up too. And in 2013, our LBR specifically requests $2.4 million to hire 28 new faculty of critical importance such as accounting, teacher education, health professions, and STEM. I know that this isn't exciting, as we would ask, magnetic labs and national labs and all of that, you know, and that's wonderful. I think the diversity in our universities really touches all the bases. What we need in the University of West Florida are good, solid faculty in the good, solid, growing disciplines, and that's what we're going to use our money for. And we are growing modestly. We can afford the growth. We're planning for it, and I think we're doing okay. And I'd like to have our student body president now, Josh Finley, wrap it up.
UWF is clearly moving in the direction of providing a more traditional college experience for our students. Recently, the National Survey of Student Engagement gave us high marks compared to our Carnegie peers in specific areas of supportive campus environment, student interaction with faculty members, and level of academic challenge. Now, I know some of you might think that fees are not popular with students, and the majority of the time you would be right, but when students are able to see the direct impact of their investment, it really makes a difference. And this year, with our tech fee, which was voted on and approved by the student body, we were able to add the addition of our wonderful new Sky Lab on the top floor of our library. The Sky Lab provides space for students to use highly advanced technology to enhance academic production. Some examples of equipment provided for students are both Mac and Windows PCs, digital cameras and camcorders, website creation and design software, as well as numerous editing programs for various applications. Another area of student life that has experienced tremendous growth and improvement is the university housing. This year, our on-campus housing exploded as we grew by 160 beds with the addition and opening of Heritage Hall in the fall of 2010. Due to high demand, many spaces on campus will be going to triple occupancy this year. That is also why we recently broke ground on our President's Hall with another addition of 252 Argonaut beds, bringing our total campus on housing to 2,000 beds. With this addition of on-campus housing, student involvement has increased. And with this increase, our university facilities are becoming to be overcrowded. That is why, once again this year, we will hope to request your consideration of a student life fee to assist with specific student facilities like a student union shown in the University Park. Now finally, UWF is really enjoying our athletic success in D2 sports, not only in our conference, but also nationally. With 59 Gulf South Conference championships and the recent addition of our 6th national championship, as our baseball team won the national championship in Cary, North Carolina 2 weeks ago. Our baseball coach was also named head coach of the year. So everything going on at the University of West Florida is really bringing the students more involved and providing us with the quality education that we really are here to get. So I thank you for your time and attention.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any questions? Let me go, Charlene, then I'll go Ann. Charlene?
Always a breath of fresh air when you appear before our board. Your dedication and your enthusiasm is just fantastic.
Thank you.
I think that you and your board should be complimented for, as part of your plan, for the additional student support programs that you are implementing. One thing that did concern me, I noticed that your number of degrees has declined, awarded has actually declined over the last 4 years, with the exception of your master's programs. Do you have most of our other universities, baccalaureate programs have the graduates, degrees awarded have increased. Yours have just about remained the same or actually declined. Is there a reason for that?
I think in the previous years, with these classes graduating, those were flat years in terms of enrollment. What would it be, 2003 to 2005, something like that. I think that's probably the biggest reason, Governor Edwards. I was surprised at it too. Do you have any other explanation?
No, we did have a problem, and I know that this was some years ago, but the memory is still very fresh in my mind, called Hurricane Ivan, that impacted
Yes.
our enrollment. So So I think that in the future you will see an increase in graduation, but I too was surprised that it was as flat as it was.
Member Duncan?
Every time I talk with President Vance, I just get so excited hearing what's happening there and her staff. And I just, kudos. Pensacola is not the easiest place to get here from.
No, it's not.
And to have this many people from your institution involved and here and present and involved is just amazing. So thank you very much. It does not go unnoticed, and we do appreciate it. Secondly, and again, thank you again for your support on the distance learning stuff that you've been helping our team with. As I hear the growth in distance learning plans, and I know what an important part of your enrollment program that is, I think about 30% of your FTEs are coming from distance learning. Is there any concerns or things or words of wisdom that you have for us, or things we should be mindful of as others are growing and how that impacts you? Or just kind of, can you maybe share a little with us on, how do we support you and what you're doing, yet still support the endeavors of all the institutions?
Well, we worry. We got out in front with distance learning, and it's been very helpful to us. We're on second base, running to third now. It's really good to be in that position. How much do we want? Not can we get any. We have kept our prices very moderate, and we've waived most of the out-of-state tuition for internet, e-learning courses. And I know that the larger universities, especially the University of Florida, is getting into distance learning. I think that their prices will be higher because they're using a different financial model or a business model. And if it keeps our courses less expensive, we think it will be okay. But if I were in your seat, I would have the same worry too. This is the big gorilla in higher education in the United States, maybe in the world. And how do you control it? I mean, we're already dealing again with service areas, and that's just the geographical face-to-face stuff. What about internet or e-learning courses and distance learning? I really don't know what I would do, but I would begin to see what's going on. As long as there's a difference in price point for us, I think we're all right, because we will keep our costs low. We're already lower. Another thing that we are doing is that we're increasing our flexibility to be more competitive with outside institutions that are more outside the state institutions that are more flexible, like Troy University, that really is a tough competitor up where we are. So I'm just going to start copying what they do and do it better. They're more expensive, and just stay under their price a little bit and see if we can't, keep some of those people live in my region. Anyway.
Can I respond?
Yes, please.
To that also? I think you've got to focus on quality. In fact, one of the individuals before, I don't remember which institution, mentioned Quality Matters, which is a national program that puts the Good Housekeeping seal of approval on programs. But I think more importantly than that, I think you have to think outside the box and not look at distance education as merely taking what is going on face-to-face and putting it in an electronic environment, but you really need to think about things differently. And there are two books that, if you haven't read them, I would highly recommend. One is called The World is Open by Curtis Bonk, and the other is Disrupting College by Clayton Christensen and several other individuals. And from my perspective, the messages that those two books provide, as well as everything else that I read day in and day out, suggests that it's not just a passing fad, it's here to stay. And we need to figure out how to do it well and how to do it differently, because other people are already doing that. And I think it's the key to our remaining competitive in the future.
Let me just add that our program took off because of necessity, because of our military students who were deploying to Iraq and Afghanistan. And early on, we had a very talented person who made sure that the learning outcome was the same, whether it was taken in the classroom, VCR, or by personal computer.
Governor Perez?
I wish Pensacola were closer than it is to Pinellas County. My family really treasures every visit we have to that area. As I've said so many times, the Naval Air Museum is,
Oh,
to me,
it's fantastic.
a treasure. I just wondered, do you get many requests for students from Alabama?
Well, the answer is no, we don't. One of the reasons is, Governor Stavros, is we lose money on them. There is something called the Alabama differential, and when it was started, it was a way to encourage students from Alabama to attend Florida for the same price or less than attending an Alabama school. Well, in the days of declining state revenue, they pay just a little bit more than in-state students. And so we only have about 450 students from Alabama. Now we are thinking of, the board just raised the Alabama differential, so we're raising how much Alabamians pay to come to University of West Florida. And so if we can raise our prices enough to make it break even, we will. But the way I look on it a bit is that any state other than Alabama, because of the differential. Nothing against Alabama. It's just a rule that was put in for the right reasons, and now it's hurting us. Yeah.
Thank you.
Governor Perez.
Madam President, I actually have two questions.
Sure.
The first one, as I looked at, and it's a similar question that I asked FAMU, your first time in college success rates versus your transfer students, your 2+2 student rates are very disparate.
Way different.
I'm assuming a portion of that has got to be the military makeup of your student body, but is there a reason that your first time in college is in that 45% range versus the 68% range for the AA students that transfer over on your graduation?
Take it.
Honestly, I don't know the answer to that question. I wish I did, but I don't.
Yeah, my guess is that when they come from a college as a transfer to the university, they really want that degree. They're older. Usually they're a little bit more dedicated to finishing. Your first time in college, it's the national average that we have. You know, it's not more, it's not less. And so that's normal. So I think you can say that the transfer students that we get want to have a bigger desire to finish. That's hard to capture, Governor Perez, it is. I guess I agree. I really don't know. I was surprised. It's 20 points difference.
It's about 20 points,
Yeah.
and the UCF and UF and those folks are about the same.
Yes.
But
So what are we doing right?
Well, they're about
Yeah.
the same as far as their 4-year and their 2-year. I mean, they're about the same first time in college versus AA. So it's a little more disparate with you. I presumed it might have just been the makeup of your student body as
I think
well.
you're right.
Second question, much easier. I was interested in your paperwork that you filled out. You talked about, and I thought you might pick it up in your comments, but you didn't. In your enrollment planning, you're going to continue to develop mobile learning opportunities.
Yes.
I don't know what that is.
Where's the cell phone? It's like on your cell phone. Mobile in that sense, and it really revolves around our military, so that when they are deployed or when the National Guard is called up and they're deployed and they're taking courses with us, that they can continue those courses no matter where they are. And that's what we mean. It's small mobile devices.
Okay.
Right. It's not just the internet. It's because you don't have to be connected to the internet. They figured out ways to, if they can just get connected once a month or something like that, they can download enough and go through the course, then upload and download and deal with deployment.
Interesting.
Yes, it is. It's quite advanced.
In fact, the New Media Consortium every year issues something called a Horizon Report, and mobile learning was one of the top technologies to watch this year and has been in the past as well.
Yeah. And it's assuming you don't have a lot of internet connectivity and your life is disjointed.
That's a good assumption.
Yes.
Well, no, what's really neat about that is that so many, there's certain populations that rely upon handheld devices for the internet.
That's another burgeoning industry out there.
Poor Chairman Parker.
I know, exactly. But if a hand, but handheld devices
Yeah.
to access the internet. So the idea that if we can do coursework like that, I think it really does help to reach a certain part of the population that really needs our help.
Yes.
And we didn't just jump into this. We had a test program with the Coast Guard. So these guys go out on ships and we give them a little device and then they complete the course. Then we could evaluate what they learned and any problems with the particular devices, things of that nature.
Really.
Very neat.
Any other questions? Well, again, I want to thank you, Dr. Benz, Mr. Chairman, all the members of the board. You know, Pensacola is God's country, but it really is hard to fly in and out of. So the fact that
Oh, it's not that hard.
the fact that you guys
We go to
are here.
Atlanta a lot.
Exactly.
That's where I got hung up last
If I
night.
could go off script
Sure,
with one
please.
comment. I do want the governors to know, our community has gone electric in its excitement about this university. And the leadership that Judy Benz has brought, the connection to our community, the investment you've made, our new College of Science building, our new College of Business building, it's really making a difference, and there's a lot of excitement in our community about this university, and we thank you.
We appreciate that. This my only thing is that I figure in a couple of years you're going to want a football team and a stadium, and so I'm like, yikes. but I noticed that nobody said no, so maybe that's a possibility.
Right. Top right. There it is.
Well, it's a little bit
That's it.
scary, but I won't be here then, so.
Could also be used for, so just think about that too.
Gotcha.
Well, winning the national championship in baseball and being a president at a College World Series, and the whole town just really got involved. They had watch parties all over town. They were 500, 600 people came to Cary, North Carolina. We had more people there than anybody. It did something to Pensacola,
God.
and they are kind of catching the fever.
And Torrey State has a football team, doesn't
Yes,
it?
they do.
So, here we go.
Yes, they do. They're Division I, but we'll be Division II for a while longer.
Thank you all so much.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate it.